America is not a racist country.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to also show you a protest that took place up at the mall. He is really getting a lot of support here in New Jersey. And let me tell you, the Bridgeton police, they have shot a couple of black men. And, those cases were also controversial. They didn't just blow up in the media like some of the ones like Ahmaud Arbery and Trayvon Martin. They were more local outrage and stuff. But we all know by now that all of these police departments are infiltrated. And look, this was very blatant. They didn't even try to hide their racist bias towards these two teens. It was a hell of a difference between how one got treated and the other. So, Bridgeton Police is catching a lot of hell, y'all, over this. And they know how bad it is. And, it's the usual BS about they're investigating themselves. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this next video.
Ebony, teenagers, especially teenage boys, get into fights sometimes. It happens. It's not unheard of behavior. Do you think there's any reason to have two fully grown adults holding your son down in the first place? What did you think of the treatment and the difference between how they treated your son and the other teen?
I think that it doesn't take two adults. It doesn't. I just can't understand it. I don't. I keep trying to wrap my mind around it, and in no possible scenario does it make sense to me. If I hate to say this, but if it wasn't for race, then what is it? What made them tackle my son, not the other kid? What made them be so aggressive with my son, not the other kid? Why is the other kid sitting down, looking at my son be humiliated and put into cuffs? It just doesn't make sense. It makes me angry.
What does this What does this do when there's already so much mistrust between Black communities and police? What if there hadn't been so many people recording this on their phone, Ebony?
It could have been worse. I feel like if it wasn't in a mall setting where there were so many eyes, if they did that when there were so many eyes, I can't imagine if it was in any other scenario. That's scary, especially knowing, you know, especially knowing what has happened before. It's just scary to think of it, and I would like to, have us trust the cops. I'm not saying all cops are bad, but what I'm saying is there's a few out there that feel they are above the law. I would say. I just don't understand, to be honest.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to also show you a protest that took place up at the mall. He is really getting a lot of support here in New Jersey. And let me tell you, the Bridgeton police, they have shot a couple of black men. And, those cases were also controversial. They didn't just blow up in the media like some of the ones like Ahmaud Arbery and Trayvon Martin. They were more local outrage and stuff. But we all know by now that all of these police departments are infiltrated. And look, this was very blatant. They didn't even try to hide their racist bias towards these two teens. It was a hell of a difference between how one got treated and the other. So, Bridgeton Police is catching a lot of hell, y'all, over this. And they know how bad it is. And, it's the usual BS about they're investigating themselves. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this next video.
Calls for justice after a controversial mall brawl in New Jersey. Some advocates say skin color played a role in how two teens involved were treated. As CBS 2's Dave Carlin reports, today protesters took their complaints to police.
One name repeatedly echoed across the plaza of Bridgewater Police Headquarters.
We are Kai. We are Kai. We are Kai. We are Kai.
These demonstrators are here supporting Zakai, an 8th grader they say was racially profiled and brutalized by a pair of police officers, as seen in this video taken inside Bridgewater Commons Mall. The 14-year-old's aunt, Henri, talked about the caught-on-camera brawl between the teens that ended with police officers treating each boy differently. The aunt explained to the crowd what led up to it.
He was defending someone even smaller and younger than him, a 7th grader, against high schoolers. And he was met with not one, but 2 knees in his back.
Officers kneeled on and handcuffed Zakai, but the other boy named Joseph was allowed to sit on a couch, free to move about. When interviewed, Joseph said he received much better treatment and was puzzled by it.
I put my hands up like this and I said, "You guys could detain me." But she said, "No, because you were calm."
There are calls for the officers involved to be fired. That is the outcome wanted by Zakai.
If they don't know how to treat the situation and deal with the situation equally and fairly, then they shouldn't be able to deal with the situation at all.
He's so quiet and shy. Being pushed into the limelight like this, especially on these circumstances, are not ideal for him. I'm not going to wait for my nephew to die to stand up for him.
New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy reacted to this case with a statement that watching the video left him, quote, deeply disturbed. The Somerset County Prosecutor's Office is helping Bridgewater with the investigation. On Saturday, representatives from both did not comment about a case where calls for attention and justice grow louder.
What do we want? Justice. When do we want it?
Now. In Bridgewater Township, New Jersey, Dave Carlin, CBS 2 News.
To add insult to injury, y'all, the people up here try to somehow make you believe racism is something different up north than it is in the South. And as you can see, it's like racism everywhere in America. And I used to just kind of laugh. And then one day it came up again and I was at work. Oh, this is way better than the South. And you know what I told this white woman I worked with? I said, no, it isn't. And she looked shocked. I said, no, it isn't. I said, you know what? At least down south, they are out in the open with it. Here, you're covert. You show it in other ways. You're the one that will get in the streets and be Karen. You know, I didn't say it like that, but I said you will be the one to go and lie on a black person. Or you'll go in the boss's office and make stuff up. Ladies and gentlemen, always take notice. There's an awful lot of Karens that are in places like New York. Okay, even here in New Jersey. I've seen quite a few Karens, and they were New Yorkers. So, no, if anything, because they're covert, they're worse. But you see, these cops were very overt with the racism. They didn't even try to hide what they were doing. But this really is the reputation of the Bridgeton Police Department. They got a terrible track record when it comes down to race. So this is just one more example that they have to deal with. You know, racism can't end if you already got the Klan that has infiltrated the police. And how can you change policing? Policing is never going to change in America, y'all. As long as these folks are in charge, it's never going to change. They like it this way. They like looking at you in despair. They like looking at your children all psychologically messed up by the whole thing. This is not going to end. When their rulership on this planet, which is coming to an end as we speak, once that is done, this will all be over with. But as long as they think they got one more day to lead, these are the things that are going to continue to happen. They can't bring righteousness to the earth. They haven't brought it to the earth for 500 years. They're not going to bring it now. But y'all, please tell me what you think about this story. And it was interesting hearing the mother and the aunt. You know, I would have liked to see more male influence in this young man's life, but they tend to do that in these incidents when it's, Black children, you know. But y'all, please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.